Hello, I'm Mrs. Charity. Welcome to the Glorious Heritage Overview of Catholic Church History. Discover the amazing story of the Church together as a family as you color and paste your way through the timeline and printables, which you can find on our website. And now, let's move into our topic for today.
Hello, I'm Mr. Charity, and welcome to the Glorious Heritage Catholic History video series. Today's topic is number 51, Iconoclasm. If you look on your timeline and summary question sheets, you'll notice that we are still in the yellow time period, which we have called Kingdom. If you don't have a summary or timeline question sheets, you can find them on our website. What is your favorite holy image? Is it a picture of Our Lady of Perpetual Help? Or how about a picture of the Sacred Heart? Do you have a favorite statue in your house? I know that in our house, Mrs. Charity just bought a brand new statue of St. Joseph, and we even have a green candle lit beside him. We also have statues of St. Patrick, St. Joan of Arc, and the Infant of Prague. Anyway, imagine if someone came into our house when we were gone and smashed all of our statues and broke them into pieces. Then they found all of our holy pictures, such as the Last Supper, Our Lady of Lourdes, Pope St. Pius X, and all the other ones, and they ripped them into pieces and burned them up in a fire. That would be so horrible, wouldn't it? Well, that is exactly what happened to so many churches in the Byzantine Empire in the 700s. This is called the heresy of Iconoclasm, and it was a big problem and a great sin. So, who was responsible for smashing statues and destroying holy images, you might ask? Was it a gang of criminals or a bunch of Muslims? No, it wasn't. It was actually the Byzantine emperor, and even some bishops and priests. The people who wanted to get rid of holy images were called iconoclasts. But there were also some Byzantines who didn't want to smash those holy images. They liked them, and they were called the iconophiles. In the Eastern Byzantine Empire, the most of the Christians didn't think the Pope was the head of the church, but instead they looked to the emperor as the head. This, of course, is wrong, because the Pope is the victor of Christ, the head of the church. In the 1700s, though, the Byzantine Christians were confused about this. There were some Byzantine emperors who began to think that it was wrong to have holy images in their churches. They called these holy images icons. You see, in the Old Testament, God commanded the Israelites not to make images or statues, and not to worship them. In the Old Testament, this was called the sin of idolatry. So when the Byzantine emperor read that, he thought it was wrong to make statues to put in our churches. But he was very wrong. First of all, Catholics don't worship images and statues. We have them because they remind us of God and invite us to think about Him, Our Lady, and the saints. And secondly, in the Old Testament, we have to remember that Christ had not yet been born into the world. But after the Incarnation, when Christ became a man and walked among us, then it was possible to make images of Him. So because of Christ, we now can have holy images of Him and Our Lady and the saints. Pope Gregory III was very upset about the iconoclasm in the Byzantine Empire. He told the emperor to stop destroying holy pictures. But the Byzantine emperor did not listen to the Pope. So in response, Pope Gregory III excommunicated the Byzantine emperor. Now this is very serious to be excommunicated. To be excommunicated means to be separated from the church, and we can't go to heaven if we don't belong to the church. The Byzantine Empire went on smashing statues and destroying pictures for decades to come. Their churches were empty and ugly without anything in them to lift our hearts and minds to God. How sad. The Byzantine Emperor should have listened to the Pope. Here is Mrs. Charity to talk about the word iconoclasm.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Charity. The word iconoclasm comes from two Greek words put together. The first word is icon, And the second word is clasm. You might recognize the first word. Icon means picture or image. We still use this word in the English language sometimes. The second word is clasm, which we don't really use much anymore. Clasm means to break. When you put those two words together, then we can see that iconoclasm means to break pictures. And that is exactly what the iconoclastic heresy did. Can you imagine walking into church and having no holy images or statues? That would be very sad. I love to see statues and pictures of saints. They remind us of God.
Welcome back. I have a story to read to you today. It's from a sad Catholic who watched them take down the icons in the Byzantine churches in the 700s. Here we go. In the dim light of dawn, I stood before the church. My heart was heavy as the stone walls that had for centuries been the silent witness to our devotion. The air was thick with the scent of incense and a palpable sadness that seemed to sweep from the very ground upon which we stood. The emperor had decreed that the icons, those sacred images that had lifted our hearts and minds to God, were to be destroyed. The Pope called this a heresy, a word that fell like a hammer upon the faithful. I watched the soldiers ascended ladders, their hands callous, not from the labor of love, but from the grip of their swords. They reached for the icons with brutal indifference, tearing them from the rightful place above the altar, above our heads, and above our hearts. The sound of wood splintering echoed through the square, a chorus of destruction that was a horrible sound to hear. Each crack hurt my soul. Each icon's fall, a step towards an uncertain future where the emperor could lead us into further errors. What would he want to destroy next? The church buildings themselves? I could not fathom this world, stripped of the holy faces that had watched over us, that had been reminders to pray to God and to live a virtuous life. Images of Christ and his saints, once captured in paint and gold, now lay in fragments at my feet. As the sun rose higher, the light seemed to mock us, shining upon the scene of desolation where once there had been holy and beautiful images. I turned away. The image of the broken icons seared into my memory. I prayed for this madness to stop, and for the emperor to realize his errors. I wanted to walk into a church and see the beautiful images of Our Lady and of the Christ child once again. If only the emperor would listen to the Pope. Well, that's all for today. Be thankful that our churches are filled with holy images and statues. Thanks be to God. Come back next time when we'll talk about the Pope and the Byzantine Emperor and how they got along, or sometimes didn't. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. Visit our website, www.gloriousheritagecartoons.com, where you can find more educational supplements, cartoons, books, and printables. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to get notified of our latest updates and videos. And if you like our work and want to support us, you can make a donation on our website or on Patreon. We really appreciate your generosity and kindness. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.